Hello, hello, you guys. So excited to be here to talk about our new goals workbook. We are going to be discussing what makes the rooted goals system different. I'm waiting right now for my sister to hop on from her account. She's going to join the live and we are going to have a conversation. We want to let you guys in on all the goodness that is packed in this workbook, and also stay tuned to the end because we are going to drop a value bomb that you are not going to want to miss. We are going to talk about a secret to goal setting that a lot of people just don't know about. Other systems don't talk about this secret key to setting goals that just changes everything. I think this is what the pros do. I mean, I know it from all the research I've done. This is what people tracks. And so stick around to the end. We're going to talk about that. So my sister, I'm waiting for her to join. I clicked the button, so we'll see when this thing joins in. I think it's coming. Hi, Collie.
Hi. Hey, guys. Can y'all hear me okay?
I think
Can you
I can hear you well,
me?
so yeah,
All right, awesome.
I think we're good. So I filled him in a little bit on what we're going to be talking about, and so
Okay.
McCauley is going to play the part of interviewer.
Yeah, so obviously I already know what the rooted system is, and I've done a lot and heard a lot about it. Absolutely adore it. But I'm going to kind of talk about it and ask a few questions about it as if I were just a viewer as well. So starting off, I want to ask you, Shelby, how is rooted goals different than all of the other goal setting, concepts out there?
Yeah, so there are a lot of goal setting systems out there. A lot of people are familiar with like the SMART goals. That's like one of the most popular ones. But the rooted goals system comes to goal setting with just a completely different approach and mindset than other goal setting systems do. And I think that's how kind of people who use it get big results in their lives. People who have been trying to make progress for such a long time on the different things that they're passionate about, but they're not making that progress. The rooted goals helps them to think about their goals in a completely different way. So we're all super familiar, right, with the process of sitting down with a notebook and you're like, I'm going to set goals. It's going to be different this time. Your adrenaline starts pumping. You've seen something that you're really that's inspiring you to make some big changes. And then 2 weeks later, 2 months later, you've completely
Life
fallen off the
happens,
bandwagon.
right?
Life has happened. And that's because unforeseen circumstances have popped up, right? Like when you were sitting there in a vacuum at your desk writing your goals down,
You conquer the
it
world.
looked right. Everything felt possible. You're like, I'll just do it. I'll just be disciplined. I'll get up early. I'll do the things. It's going to happen, right? But we can't set goals in the vacuum. And so that's what is different about the rooted goals setting system, is that it helps you to set your goals in the context of real life and not just pretend like it's all going to work out the way that you're writing down on paper. Rooted goals helps you to really think it through and think through how you can figure out a goal that makes sense right now to help you go from where you are right now to where you want to go. And also how that's going to play out in the context of your day-to-day life, like in really, really, really granular format,
So like when a stomach bug hits the family or something, your goals aren't out the window because you've established them with the rooted goals systems that you are able to just kind of pivot and still have your goals that you're working on versus it being like, well, okay, back to the drawing board every single time.
Right. And that's what this system is all about. I wanted to help home loving women with big dreams, just like as ordinary people, have a system that would help us to keep making progress even while life kept happening, right? And we know we can't just go to our office at, show up at 9 a.m. and have control over our schedules until 5 p.m. Like that's not our particular lifestyle. Our lifestyle is full of interruptions. It's full of curveballs, right? Because we're juggling so many different roles. I'm a wife and a homeschool mom and a business owner and a member of my community and ministry work to do. I have so many things, and I think that's a reality for a lot of modern women. You know, it's not like there's just like this one set way to kind of go about your life. You can just build around that.
Right.
We have so many dynamic things that we're
Mhm.
trying to work out together. And so the rooted goal system says, okay, let's get really realistic about all of these things we need to juggle.
Yeah.
And let's take our goals, and instead of just reacting to all of these, all these things that are coming at us because of our dynamic roles, we're
Right.
going to sit down and get very intentional. We are going to set the goals, and we are going to really figure out how to make progress on those goals, and like get really granular about what that
Mhm.
looks like in the day-to-day life.
Oh, I love that. I love that because honestly, we were talking about the different roles that we have and the different plates that are spinning, but that's the beauty of life. And never would we want to give up one of those different titles that we carry to achieve the said goal that's in our heart. But we want to be able to strike that good balance. And I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
rooted system really helps us just dissect all of those goals and really start making progress on the things that matter. Okay, so my second question for you is since you came up with this and you and Clary, y'all's masterminds behind it, what is the particular exercise that you come back to time and time again when you're setting your goals?
Okay. So one of my there's so many, so this is
Mhm.
really hard to choose. But one of my favorite exercises that I seriously do, I use this on a regular basis. Like every few weeks, I find myself coming back to this particular exercise,
Okay.
and it's building a week rhythm using habit stacks. And so in the workbook, we really dive in, and because we found that our community was struggling with picturing how do you take, we talk about building a lifestyle that fuels your goals, right?
Right.
And supports your goals and makes space for them. But our community was having a hard time figuring out exactly what does that look like when from like a step by step. So we were like, let's put that in the workbook so that it
Okay.
goes through step by step and shows you how to build a habit using, top research on habit building, your cue, your craving, your response, your reward, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It shows you how to do that, but also shows you how to do it like on a week rhythm and build a week rhythm out of your habit stacks. So this is a phenomenal skill to have. You can rapidly recraft your lifestyle using habit stacks and build new habits rapidly using this process that we talk about in the book. It's the process that I've used to go from feeling, a few years ago, feeling just very overwhelmed and like, how am
Hmm.
I going to balance all these different roles
Right.
that I have, to okay, now a new curveball has come
Hmm.
because something else has changed in my life. I have, just a new
Right.
responsibility has
Hmm.
cropped up, or something has changed, or
Yeah.
maybe even we're in an extended season of sickness or
All right.
something like that. And I
Yeah.
need a
Hmm.
new week rhythm
Just
that is,
life.
honoring the realities of my life while
Hmm.
still dealing with bringing in all of my responsibilities and all of my goals that I have, and helping all of that to stay intact so I can keep making
Hmm.
progress. And so we show you, like, this is a checklist to show you exactly step by step how to build a week rhythm that
Okay.
makes space for your goals and supports. It's like rocket fuel for your goals, because your habit stacks, when we show you how to do this, to take your goals and turn them into habit stacks, like turn making progress on your goals into a habit stack that goes in somewhere very specific into your week. I love this
Mm.
exercise. And again, every time I hit a new season of life and I start to feel like, okay, everything was going great, and now all of a sudden things aren't matching up anymore, something's up, I will sit down with this week rhythm planner page, and I will sit down with our checklist, and I will build some new habit stacks that will help my goals to keep going while helping me manage all the other responsibilities I have and deal with whatever curveballs that we've just had come our way.
That's genius. I love that. That is so cool. Um, I can see that being so useful when, like you said, building those rhythms and then one little thing just feels off instead of feeling like you have to go to the drawing board, change the entire maybe time you wake up or these just large shifts, you can dissect it and figure out what the smaller shifts are that help make room for the things that are needing attention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is a golden nugget you can give out to our Instagram friends that's from the workbook itself and just something that they can get a lot of value from?
Okay, so, and I teased this at the beginning, you guys, the value bomb that I said we were going to drop. So, this is really the heart of, again, what makes rooted goals different. And we show you in the book how to set goals for your quarter. And we show you how to set a few different types. But there's one type of goal that we really focus on in this book, and it's flipping your biggest pain point. I think
Mm-hmm.
that that is the best kept secret of goals. And honestly, I don't hear anybody talking about it, but I
Mm-hmm.
know people are doing it. If they're having success, they just haven't put words to it yet.
Okay.
And what you do when you flip your biggest pain point is you look at your life and you say, what is the number one thing keeping me from moving forward on the things that matter most to me? Like, what's the thing? What's the thing driving me crazy, holding me back, making it difficult for me to make progress? What is siphoning all of my energy
Mm-hmm.
and my motivation? What is that thing? And then you set a goal to tackle that thing and take care of it. This is amazing. Like, I cannot believe how just having this, knowledge that when I set a goal, when I set my goals, I need to flip my biggest pain point and turn it into my biggest opportunity for progress.
Oh,
It's
wow.
crazy how it has changed my life personally. Last year, we recorded 2 seasons of the Make Space to Thrive podcast. We wrote this book. I had so many things happening, really important, wonderful things that were happening in my life, huge projects that were finally getting done. And do you know what was not on my goals list last year? Write a book, record 2 seasons of the podcast. Why? But I was able to make space to do these things that I've been wanting to do for
Yeah.
years, that we've been working towards for years.
Mm-hmm.
Why was I able to make that progress? Because every quarter I sat down and I asked, what is my biggest pain point? I flipped that into my goal for that quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I tackled that biggest pain point, and it made all this space for me to
Mm-hmm.
have the creative energy and bandwidth. I mean, it's phenomenal. Like, one of my goals, and we talk about this in the Make Space to Thrive podcast that we just dropped, the Rooted season of the podcast. And so you can go to your favorite podcast at, iTunes, or, go to our
Yeah.
website, you can
I
see
love
it.
it.
We just dropped the entire season that Clary and
Yep.
I recorded. And we talk about this. One of the things in that season we discuss is that one of my goals had to be to clean out my teacher's closet. I'm a homeschool mom. And it's like, that's
I
not a
remember that.
glamorous
Mm-hmm.
goal. But I had to set that goal because it was creating a lot of friction in my homeschool day. So, like, our intuition tells us we need to set a goal around, like, I want to get through this curriculum with my kids, or I want to write a book,
Mm-hmm.
or I want to do something glamorous, right? Like something you can Instagram about, something that sounds impressive, even sounds impressive to yourself. And like, that's the thing we tend to want to write down first.
Mm-hmm.
But pause, lift your biggest pain point, because you will find if you do that, well, if you don't do that, if you don't flip your biggest pain point, the friction that you have in your life from your pain points is going to hold you back from doing that thing that you really
Mm-hmm.
want to do.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think, if I had this written down, but I didn't have some of the more boring goals written down that I did,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? If I had write a
Mm-hmm.
book written
Yeah.
down, but I didn't have clean out my teacher's closet, or,
Right.
like, deal with like some back end stuff with the business that I need
Yeah.
to do. I needed to revamp the website. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those are the boring things that I didn't want to write down. And yet, because I did those things, space was cleared,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to do the thing that would really make a ton of progress. But you don't take pictures of
Yeah.
your teacher's closet getting done. You don't
Yeah.
advertise that, but that is the thing that made space for the big goals
But
to
not
happen.
only that, with the teacher's closet or the back end things at the website, that's the stuff that's like taking all of that mental energy, but you don't even realize you're stressing about. It's taking all the peace out of trying to tackle these other products, and you're just on edge and you're feeling frustrated. But when you're able to tackle the pain points, like you said, first,
Mm-hmm.
then all the inspiration comes back in, and all the peace to take the right next step is there. And that's really what we're trying to help get across to people, is them really being able to have that peace for that right next step in their life. I love
Yes,
that.
and
That's a great,
yeah, exactly. Right. And it infuses the energy whenever
right,
you have taken care of those things that are
right.
just, stressing you out, infuses the energy and the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And what's great too is the goals workbook doesn't just tell you to do that. It leads you step by step through how to figure out what that biggest pain point is,
Okay,
how to
yeah.
see how it connects to your calling. And so, like, let me just run through the acronym real quick and just
All
explain
right.
how this pain point goal works. So, the rooted acronym is R, rooted in your core calling. And the when you flip your biggest pain point, what you're doing is you are well, the book shows you how to connect that to how this is holding you back from like living and
Mm-hmm.
being the kind of person that you're called to be. And it like shows you, it starts with that rooted in your core calling and reminds you all that you have been created to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it encourages you to like, okay, there's meaning behind what I'm doing right now. And then O is organically growing out of your context, and that's the phase that really helps you to dig in and figure out what your biggest pain point is right now,
Okay.
and then helps you to flip that and to get that clarified and see how that ties in with your other big goals that you have that you're wanting to work on as well. That all ties in and organically growing out of your context. The next one is O, outlined for clarity. So
Mm-hmm.
then you take your goal and you break it down into clear step by step bits that you can then put into your week and into your day, and you can tuck right into your planner. We show you how to get your goal from being just a vague like direction in your head
Mm-hmm.
and get it down on
Mm-hmm.
paper where you can stick it in your planner, you can put it on the schedule, you can know exactly what you're doing what day and build your week rhythm around it, right? That's outlined for clarity. And then T is tailored to your lifestyle. And that's really where the week rhythm building comes in,
Yep.
using habit stacks in order to support your goals. And also, it helps you to look at your goal and make sure that you're focused on the essentials of what you're really needing to do so that you don't fritter away your time on the little things in your goal, but you stay focused on what matters most about your goal. And so you just keep making that progress, and it's tailored to your lifestyle. So your lifestyle is supporting your goals, and your
Oh,
goals
yeah.
are supporting your lifestyle, and
Yeah.
everything is coming together so that you're not feeling like you've got this tug of war between what you
Mm-hmm.
want to do and what you need to do all the time, right? And
Right.
then E is etched in your memory. And that part of the workbook really shows you how to use your planner in order to set your goals. And the workbook comes with a free printable version of the Evergreen Planner. So you can just print it right out and learn how to use the Evergreen Planner if you haven't gotten yours yet. And you can learn how to set rooted goals with that free planner that comes with the workbook. And then, so but also if you have your Evergreen Planner, it will show you how to just stick that in and how to proactively work on your goals every month,
And
how to work your
etched,
goals into your week.
etched is particularly good for building that working memory, right?
Right. Right. And that's why we call it etched in your memory, is
Okay.
because that is a secret sauce for goal retention. This entire book was the answer to the question, what is going to help ordinary people have success through on their goals?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the question I asked when I wrote this book.
Mm-hmm.
And Clary and I worked together with that question in mind, was what is going to help ordinary people follow through on their goals? And
Mm-hmm.
etched in your memory is such a key part of that because you have to train your brain to care about your goals.
Mm-hmm.
What you pay attention to is what your brain keeps telling you to keep paying attention to. It's just how attention works. It's how your working memory works. And so if you tend to pay attention to, scrolling Instagram notifications and stuff like that, every time you
Right.
if that's what you spend your time on, you are training your brain, and the apps train your brain to say, notification, this is important. Notification, this is important,
Mm-hmm.
right? What this does is it teaches you how to take your goals and put them in that place. And so then instead of your subconscious constantly telling you, pick up your phone, your subconscious is telling you, oh, look, there's an opportunity to work on your goals.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
a powerful flip for
Yes.
your life. It is just phenomenal when you etch your goals into your memory. And this shows you how to do that. You can use our free
Yep.
planner. I mean, you can literally look at this and use a notebook if you need to, but this is such a key part, this section of the workbook that shows you how to work it into your actual plans, and then the habits you need every day. One of the biggest, this is another, we give another piece of value away. This has been the
Gold
biggest
nugget,
thing
listen up.
to help me to make progress and retain my goals and to follow through all the way on them is one habit. This I learned studying CEOs. So something that top CEOs, most successful people in the world do, all of them, is every single morning they read their goals. That's it. They have a list of their goals and they read them. And I thought, wow, that's simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to write my goals down every day, because I know I'm a busy mom, right? If I'm reading my goals and somebody talks to me, I might not be paying all the way attention to them. So I write them out. And the way science shown, when you write something down, it improves your memory about that. Yeah. And a lot of times you don't ever have to even read it again, because you wrote it down. You will remember it. Your brain encodes it and says double encoding, and it tells you, hey, this is important, right? If you write down your goals every single day, you are double encoding your brain into your goals every single day. So when you have time to work on your goals, when space opens up, grandma says, hey, I'm going to take the kids today, or, the kids have gone down for bed and you have a few minutes to do something, or you've gotten up early and you finished your quiet time and you have a few minutes to do something, your brain goes, your goal. Instead of telling you, check your phone, it says, work on your goal. Game changer. Because then you sit down, and because of all the work you had been doing using this workbook, you know exactly what you're going to do to make progress on your goal. It is a game changer.
Yes.
To have that, and you can do that right now. Just every day, write down your goals.
Yeah, whatever they are.
It will change everything.
Yes. I just love how the system works so well together, because not only are you, like you said, an etched, which the last one is developed by Providence. That's what the D is for. And that one's a little self-explanatory, but with the whole system together, not only are you giving the equipment to, or the prompts to be able to learn how to etch it in your memory, but you also know what the goal is that you're working on. So for me, I think kind of this huge life, like it seems like a blank slate, all of these things, brand new days. What is it that my goal should even be? And I love that throughout Rooted, you're being able to focus very, very specifically on, who God made you and what specific gift you have and where that can fit in your life. And it's so, so, so personalized. We cannot give you just this entire script for follow this and you'll have a perfect, peaceful life. Instead, you can figure that out for yourself using these tools. And I absolutely love how that all works together.
And D, on that note, it equips you with the growth mindset that you need, because even with all this work, and this work is all the work that you do in the first 5 phases, is so important for you to be able to make progress, and you will make progress. You will be compelled to follow through on your goals. But D deals with the fact that we are not in control of tomorrow, and we all know it, right? And so while we should be proactive and we should have good discipline and we should follow through on the goals that we set, D recognizes that things can happen, right? Things that if you set a goal and then the next month something happens that makes that goal seem irrelevant at first, or seem like it would not make sense now, all kinds of things can happen, right? Instead of you throwing all your goals out, what D does is helps you to have the growth mindset to say, okay, what's happening? And it shows you exactly what to do to pivot when that happens. We get very practical even in that step to say, okay, so what's going on here? Where do I have agency? What things might I need to change? And what things can I hold on to? What things do I want to shift? What things do I want to let go of? And it helps you to think through that instead of just like started a business, then something huge happens in your life and you just don't do anything with the business anymore. You know what I mean? Like, instead of doing that, it helps you to go, okay, developed by Providence. We know that any goals we give back to God, He is going to develop in the best of ways. I could have that confidence because He is a good Father. He knows that we are seeking to honor Him, and He's a good Father. Right. So if this is happening, He knew it was going to happen. He knew I was going to set these goals, and He knew that things were going to change in my life. So what's He doing? What what do I need to do in
Mm-hmm.
response to what he's doing, and how is he going to develop my goals in the best of ways because he's a good father? That's what D helps you to do. It's not just a pep talk. It also shows you very directly, literally what to do when you sit down with your planner. You open it up. Things are different now. How do you pivot? It gives you granular examples. Clary and
Mm-hmm.
I actually opened up our planners and put how we pivoted in 1 week where things kept changing. I mean, over and over again. It was the week we needed to record our podcast. People were getting sick. Things were happening. There was events over that weekend that we needed to, all these different things. And we had to figure out, what are we going to do? How are we going to, how are we going to pivot? How are we going to handle this? And we just show you right inside the book, using our actual planners, what we did that week to keep things going, and like surrendering the plans that we had to God, knowing ultimately we can't force anything to happen. But how do we stay doing our part of it? If Clary and I, the minute that my kids got sick and then other things started happening, said, oh, I guess we can't do the podcast, I just want to be here. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
But
Mm-hmm.
instead, we were like, okay, we don't know what this week is, but we know it's being developed by Providence. And
Yes.
so we kept saying, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And if we do all this work and still at the very last minute, I can't drive to your house because my kids are sick to do the podcast, we'll done the work and we'll figure it out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if we would have just been like, this will never work. We
Mm-hmm.
have kids and they keep getting sick
Yeah.
and stuff keeps happening. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why I'm even doing this, and throw our hands up in the air, then this wouldn't have even come to
Right,
pass, right?
right.
And so that's what this Root of Goals workbook helps you to do, is to be a real person with a real life, but still follow through on your goals.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And inside there is so many practical applications, practical tips, exercises, all of the things that you need to get started in your goals. And we, like she said, we just dropped all of our Rooted Goal season 3, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Season 3 of our podcast that makes space to thrive. And you can find that on any of the podcast streaming platforms. But the link is in our bio for the Rooted system right now, and you can get that at a discount for the limited time while they're on pre-order. But I hope that this was encouraging, kind of giving you a little bit of a inside look to what Rooted is, the heart behind it, and all the things that really it has to offer when it comes to making realistic goals in your day-to-day life while valuing every other responsibility you have, every other task that's on your plate, and recognizing that this is all given to you by the good Father. And so I hope that this live was a little helpful for you and that you'll have a great weekend.